The fourth game is going on. As I said, India are 3-0 up in the series, and the Indian batsmen are doing the job again. Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli, they're in tremendous form, and to have the South Africans on the mat at home is not easy at all, which just goes to show how balanced and aggressive this Indian side is.
Keep in mind the match is being played in Johannesburg at the Wanderers cricket ground, which is the headquarters of South African cricket. And India, I think, won a good toss and elected to bat, and now they have just lost one wicket, and that was taken by Rabada, I think, if I'm right. And both the batsmen, as you mentioned in your introductory thing, they have scored 50 and 50s each. Well, Virat is in superb touch, scoring 160s, 100s and 50s. I think he's the best batsman in the world playing, and I think India has started very well, and they are already in a very commanding situation.
Well, before we get to Virat Kohli, I'd like to talk about Shikhar Dhawan. I feel like we don't do that enough because he's one of the most consistent openers, particularly in white ball cricket. Not only does he get his runs quickly, but he gets them often. He gets his runs consistently, and he loves playing abroad, doesn't he? He's one of those Indian batsmen that enjoys bounce. He loves the cut and he loves the pull, and he's taking full advantage of these South African bowlers on their pitches.
We should keep in mind that he's, I think, a 14th Indian cricketer who has played 100 games. And he has been in and out of Indian cricket teams, sometimes scoring runs, sometimes not scoring runs, but this is a year in which he is really beating the other bowlers heavily, and today once again he's, I think, playing in 80s if I'm right, and with Virat Kohli, well, he has certainly become a batsman today at the Wanderers who can really win the match from South Africans.
I mean, he burst onto the scene, didn't he, did Shikhar Dhawan, against Australia in a test match in India when he scored a century in very quick time. And he is a very aggressive, flamboyant batsman. He's a very confident batsman. A lot of his game is about confidence. Yes, there might be some few technical flaws with Shikhar Dhawan, but he's such a confident guy and has such strong self-belief that he feels like he can take on any bowling attack, which he does in alien conditions.
Ali, I love watching the southpawed batsmen. Well, they are a treat to watch, particularly talking about Shikhar Dhawan. He is a lovely batsman when he scores runs on the offside of square of the wicket, while he square cuts. Then he's very good on the front foot. He plays the ball between mid-on and mid-off, so a bowler's back drive. Then he pulls and hooks the ball very well. These are the three main cricket strokes which he plays, and really makes the bowlers feel afraid of him.
Because, I mean, he is overshadowed by his captain, Virat Kohli, and his opening partner, Rohit Sharma, who's, I mean, Rohit Sharma, we all know what a fabulous one-day batsman he is. He's one of the best one-day batsmen there's ever been. How many double hundreds does he have? 3, I think, something like that. So naturally, a batsman with that kind of record would overshadow anybody. But I do feel like we need to talk about Shikhar Dhawan's progress a lot, because, as I said, he's been scoring runs abroad in crucial games and in important tournaments, something you don't normally associate with Indian batsmen, top order batsmen especially.
For me, one thing is very important. His name is already taken with the Gangulys of Indian cricket and Tendulkars. These are 14 players who have scored more than 100, who has played more than 100 matches, and he is now in that galaxy. So he's already proving to be a great Indian cricketer. Let's see what does he do today. Is he going to get a century? That is the most important thing.
I mean, people do like drawing comparisons. I guess you could try and compare him with Ganguly, because Ganguly used to open the batting for India in one-day cricket. Him and Sachin Tendulkar were a fabulous opening pair in their time. Ganguly was a much more fluent timer of the ball, more naturally gifted than Shikhar Dhawan. But Shikhar Dhawan, unlike Ganguly, enjoys bounce. He loves playing the pull shot, and he likes playing the uppercut as well.
And what I feel is that he is more swashbuckling. Well, he scores his runs quickly, and it is always very, very important when Shikhar Dhawan scores runs, India scores runs.
Now, Virat Kohli, I mean, I'm running out of superlatives for that guy. He just keeps getting better and better. In Cape Town, he made his 34th 100. He scored a big 100 in the second test match. Really, I mean, what else can we say about Virat Kohli except that he is by far the best in the world in all formats of the game, let's face it.
There is no doubt about that, and he has proved it. Well, I remember when in 1989 I first met Sachin Tendulkar. He was 14 years old boy and nobody knew about him. But you know how he played, you have seen it yourself. And this is second Indian cricketer who is touching the zeniths of the game. I mean, he is such a superlative player. And the way he drives the ball through the covers, technically superb strokes, copybook. And Virat is one player. So I think another Tendulkar is getting birth in Indian cricket.
When you look at his record, I mean, in T20 cricket, he averages close to 40, or maybe it's 40, I can't quite remember, but it's something like that, 34 hundreds in one-day cricket. He averages in the mid-50s. Same is the case in test match cricket. If you look at his conversion rate in test match cricket, I think he's got what? I could be wrong, but it's not outlandishly wrong, maybe 21 or 22 hundreds and 15 or 16 50, something like that. I mean, when you look at those stats, it really is incredible. It's George Headley stuff.
Yes. The black bread man you're talking about, unfortunately died in a car accident.
Yeah, but like the record, you know, when you look at a record like that.
Well, I will compare him with Tendulkar. Tendulkar was not that successful in the initial days of his career. Virat is. So I think Virat has started better than Tendulkar. And let's see how can he prolong this stay in international cricket.
No, and he's smart as well. Of course, the natural talent is there. But he's had to work his backside off to get where he is today. If you remember when he first came into the Indian side, he was a bit chubby. Then he realized that he needed to do something about his fitness. He did that. He practiced for hours and hours and hours in the nets. And he improved his stroke play. And to be able to adapt to all formats of the game so successfully just goes to show that he is the best.
Well, he works hard as far as fitness is concerned, though in the initial period he was not that serious. Like a Pakistani coach who says that if a person is not fit, he loses the right to play for the national team. I think he realized that early, and he is super fit now and scoring brilliantly.
Right, let's move on to the Indian bowlers, shall we? They've really been troubling the South Africans, haven't they? Especially the spinners. Well, I've just been told by my producer I had trouble hearing him. We'll get your thoughts, Zadi Saab. We've been joined by Mr. Chishti Mujahid. Chishti Mujahid Saab, Assalamu Alaikum.
Ji, Walaikum Assalam Ali, and Assalamu Alaikum Mr. A.R. Zaidi, and Assalamu Alaikum to all the viewers, and a very good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir. Chishti Mujahid Saab, we've been talking about the series going on in South Africa versus India. India 3-0 up in the series, and in the fourth game they're sitting pretty. Unfortunately for India, I believe Virat Kohli just got out. I thought I heard my producer Arsalan Shirazi saying that. But yeah, they're looking very good, and beating South Africa in South Africa, it's no joke. It just goes to show that they're a fabulous one-day international side.
Yes, I think we talked about the Indian prowess and their talent and their commitment and their experience, particularly in the white format game yesterday. And we saw that this fellow seems to be churning centuries after centuries and half centuries after half century. But before I say that, I must say that this one-day international is the one being played in the Bulls Ring in Johannesburg. It's the pink one-day international. Am I right in that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's for a very noble cause, and I hope that it catches on. It's started in Australia by the McGrath Foundation when Glenn McGrath started that foundation in memory of his wife who succumbed to breast cancer, and one day is held in Melbourne, which is also a pink day, and this one I think is for the same cause, because all the players I think all the South African players are in pink uniform. And a lot of the crowd, you will notice, are also in pink. And it gives a very nice effect, but it's for a great cause. And I like these causes, and I hope it catches on here in Pakistan, particularly in domestic cricket, although you want to get more than 5 people wearing pink, because that's the total number of spectators who come and see a domestic match here. However, getting back to India, India are heading for a 5-0 clean sweep against South Africa. If they carry on in the same vein as they did today, I think they lost an early wicket, and after that, Kohli and Dhawan made merry. And it's a very short boundary on the squarish side. There's a 57-meter boundary and a 62-meter boundary, and so there were very short boundaries. Remember, this is the ground where more than 850 runs were scored, so not a long time ago, between Australia and South Africa, that famous match. I'm sure Mr. Zedi will tell you all about it. I'm not quite sure whether he was there or not, but he usually is in most of these matches. So it must be a short round where you can score sixer after sixer. Adam Gilchrist there punished the South African bowlers, and then the South Africans, of course, hit back very hard. This one, I think, what India should be heading for about 400, if the way they are going at the moment. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been watching the match, but what is it? The total must be now, what, 200 for 1 or 200 for 2 in pretty quick time. So this is once again going India's way. South Africa have...
Chishti Mujahid Sahab, we have to move on pretty quickly, so I'm going to move to my next question. I mean, we all know how powerful India's batting lineup is. We've talked in great detail about Shikhar Dhawan and, of course, Captain Kohli. But India's bowling attack, they've got some good fast bowlers in there, but it's their spinners that have really been troubling the South Africans. The wrist spinners, the leg spinner in Chahal, and the left-arm Chinaman bowler in Yadav. Now, we all know that South Africans and maybe the Australians in the past have struggled a little bit against spin. But with the amount of technology that there's there, shouldn't the South African batsmen know what Chahal and Yadav are all about? Your thoughts on South Africa's troubles against India's spinners?
No, obviously it is obvious that they don't know, and not only do the South African batsmen don't know, but batsmen probably all around the world. Particularly, we've been talking about what I call the Western batsmen, which include the Australians, the New Zealanders, and the English players, and now the Irish and the Scottish as well. They are completely illiterate against spin, and they have fallen pretty cheaply to Abdul Qadir and Mushtaq Ahmad and Danish Kanaria and various others, Anil Kumble of India, remember him, and a few off spinners from India, left-arm spinners. But the rare commodity, as we were saying yesterday, in one-day cricket these days is the Chinaman. In fact, the Chinaman is a rare commodity in any type of cricket throughout the world, and there are very few here or there. Michael Bevan was the last one we talked about, who was an occasional bowler. He was more of an all-rounder. Batted very well at number 7, won many a short format game for Australia. And this fellow, Yadav, is in the same vein. And Chahal also is a spinner. In India, of course, have two of the top spinners with them. Ashwin, who isn't playing, and they have Ravindra Jadeja. But what India has come up with these days, and what is a great improvement from my days, I would say, about 25 years ago, is that they've got a battery of very good quick bowlers. They have Umesh Yadav, who's probably one of the
because we're running
bowlers.
out of time, I have to move this along.
Yes,
Mr. A.R. Zedi is here with me in the studio. I'm sure you know that. Of course you know that. Mr. A.R. Zedi has a question for you. Over to you, A.R.
Yes,
Zedi.
sure.
Sir.
Chishti Saab, Shikhar Dhawan is a batsman who is sometimes proving his worth and sometimes he's not. And the way he has batted today, once again he's leading, as you correctly said, to at 400 total. Do you think India is going to win this game? Because we both, you and me, we have been to Wanderers and we have seen the nature of the wicket. Well, it's a lovely bowling wicket and a batting wicket too. But is India making ways to a victory?
Yeah, I think India should win this one because the South African batting has been woefully out of form. Amla isn't clicking unless Amla clicks, but when he starts clicking, then he scores lots of runs. De Villiers, I think, is still not available. I'm not sure about Du Plessis. He's not there either because Markram is captaining, who's a standby captain. They haven't got Quinton de Kock behind the wickets and with the bat. So they've got a fairly brittle batting side, and their bowling isn't all that great with Steyn gone, and they're not having a regular spinner. They are not playing Imran Tahir. They're not playing Maharaj. They're depending on Dumini. So I think South Africa are a bit of a weakened side. This is one of the downward trend, as they say. They have had their days on the top, but sometimes there is a little bit of dip which comes and they'll build up again. But at the moment, India, I was talking about the pace bowlers of India. They've got Umesh Yadav, who isn't playing, but they've got Bumrah. Bumrah is developing into a very good pace bowler, and they've got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, the swing bowler, who bowled brilliantly, and they've got a few others in the lineup. In our days, when Kapil Dev came on in the force, and remember he played his first test match at the age of 18 in Faisalabad at the Iqbal Stadium in 1979. Oh, India thought that was the best thing that has happened since sliced bread, that such a fast bowler has come from the Indians. But Pakistan have churned out fast bowlers by the dozen. But India they've done a lot. They've done a lot at the lower levels, the grassroots levels, the schools levels, the clubs levels. And you see, if you have Rahul Dravid opting to coach their under-19, whereas our players will not coach the younger fellows. They want to be with the big guns. Now, we must have that sort of spirit. And if you have that system, then, of course, this is the product you get. Instead of course, you have the headmaster attitude of Michael Arthur and the others that you've got. Right. I think we can take a leaf out of India's book here.
We've got to leave it at that. Chishti Mujahid Saab, thank you very much for speaking to us. A little bit more on the Indian attack, then we'll get to the Trans-Tasman series. Spinners, of course, I think they've taken 21 wickets in this series so far, and the series is not over yet. I mean, the fact that the South Africans aren't picking them is a little bit worrying. I mean, because there's so much technology around. I'm sure they know what Chahal, well, they should know what Chahal and Jadhav are all about. It's one thing to have a few problems against them, but to struggle the way they've struggled is rather alarming.
Well, Ali, South Africa has only one wicket which is known to be spinner's wicket, that is PE's wicket, Port Elizabeth. Otherwise, the wickets are generally for the fast medium bowlers. When I was watching Indians playing at Centurion, I was amazed. The wicket was taking turn, and it was more like a Mirpur wicket, where the spinners have played havoc with the Bangladeshis. Well, India is, as Chishti was saying too, has been very lucky, and they planned it. The Pune Academy and the school cricket, the college cricket, the university cricket, we are always making a noise about that start cricket at that level. And they have brought in, you must have seen the Under-19 World Cup. There are many incoming Bumrahs and B. Kumars and others. They are knocking at the doors of international cricket.
I mean, watching India's fast bowlers, particularly in the test matches, I was very pleased to see Zaidi Saab, because I grew up watching a lot of Indian cricket. It would come on TV all the time, and they would always bellyache about the fact that they're not producing fast bowlers. They only had Javagal Srinath, who is not the quickest, but very skillful, and he was sharp when he was a little younger.
Prasad too.
Yeah, Prasad was a gentle medium pacer, but a very skillful bowler. He had a very good leg cutter, but they didn't have great fast bowlers. Then you get Zahir Khan.
Chishti was talking about Indian fast bowlers. Well, Kapil Dev. I was sitting just behind his arm when he, in 1978, bowled his first delivery in test matches at Faisalabad.
Right.
Well, just an ordinary bowler, but he in fact worked very, very hard after the first test match, and he touched the zeniths of fame.
No doubt. He turned out to be one of the greats of the game, and he set a trend, but then it sort of died a little bit in the 90s. They didn't really have quality fast bowlers or seam bowlers. Then
He had got 434 wickets?
Yes, then they got Zahir Khan, then Ashish Nehra came into the picture, Irfan Pathan briefly, Balaji. Now you've got these guys. You've got you've got Bhuneshwar Kumar, who's a very skillful swing bowler. He bowls at round about 140 now. Jasprit Bumrah, who's one of the best death bowlers in the world today. Then of course the all-rounder Hardik Pandya. Umesh Yadav, when he plays, I mean, he's
But Ali,
there.
the thing started when Dennis Lilly came to Australia, and there the Pune Academy started working. That was in fact a school for fast bowlers.
The MRF Pace Academy.
Well, Lilly was there and coaching and teaching the youngsters. I think that was a very good start by the Indians. They never had fast bowlers. I think Nisar Hussain was the one great fast bowler before the partition. After that, I never heard a good name from India. But after that academy, well, you have got the new crop in front of you.
Yeah, and role models help as well. I mean, I think Zahir Khan really revived Indian fast bowling. And then others wanted to copy him. Now you look at the Indian under-19 team, which just won the World Cup. They've got some very good fast bowlers in there.
Yes,
they had the best fast bowlers in the competition, and that's again something I never.
They are claiming for it.
Yeah, that's something I never thought I'd say. So hats off to them. You've got to give credit where credit's due. Let's move on.